Welcome to the Temple of Truth, a sacred place for the soul to awaken to its divine origin, to pierce through the veil of ego and walk the path of inner resurrection. Follow along with courage and humility, for here, illusions dissolve, shadows are embraced, and the light of your true self is revealed. This is not a journey of belief, but of direct experience, a return, a remembering. You are not here by chance. You were called. Take a deep breath as we now dive into sacred knowledge, wisdom not to merely inform, but to transform. May it benefit your soul, illuminate your path, and awaken the truth already living within you. We ignore the invisible, rediscovering the reality of the inner world. In today's world, we believe in what we can see, measure, or control. We trust the physical, the body, the external, the visible. And while science and material reality have their place, there is a tragic cost to this imbalance. We have forgotten the reality of the inner world. We treat the soul like a metaphor. We treat emotions as inconveniences. We treat dreams as nonsense. We treat intuition as unreliable. And we treat the ego, the false I, as the whole of who we are. This is not progress. This is amnesia. They accept the physical body, but their psychology is vague to them. We care for the skin, but neglect the wound beneath it. We train the body, but not the mind. We dress the outer self and starve the inner. We take selfies, but do not know the one taking the photo. We know more about our phones than our own thoughts, more about our diet than our desires, more about the news than our nervous system. We are externally informed, but internally blind. This is not because we are evil. It's because we've been taught to ignore the invisible. The inner world is real, and it governs your life. Most people don't realize this, but your entire life is shaped by your inner world, by unconscious thoughts, hidden beliefs, suppressed emotions, and the wounded programs that run quietly in the background of your mind. These things cannot be seen. They did not show up in a mirror, but they drive everything. Your patterns in relationships, your recurring thoughts and addictions, your fears and triggers, your need for validation, attention, or control. Even your illnesses, posture, and fatigue. We think we are in control because we can move our limbs or choose what to eat. But unless we've made the unconscious conscious, we are being moved by forces we do not see. This is why ancient teachings always began with the same instruction. Know thyself. Not your face, your interior, your motives, your shadows, your desires, your truth. We are spirit, not just flesh. The human being is not just a body. We are multidimensional, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. To reduce ourselves to only the physical is to live a fragmented life and to suffer silently without understanding why. A person may look fine on the outside, but be dying inside, and no diet or gym or beauty regimen can heal an unseen wound. Yet this is what most people try to do. We medicate symptoms while ignoring their roots. We chase achievement while ignoring inner emptiness. We treat mental and emotional suffering like a glitch, not a message. But the soul always speaks. Through anxiety, through depression, through restlessness, through dreams, through longing. Are you listening? Why we fear the inner world. The truth is, most people don't ignore their inner world because it's unimportant. They ignore it because it's uncomfortable. To look inside is to face what we've suppressed. Past trauma, guilt, contradictions, shame, fear. The inner world holds beauty, yes, but also the pain we haven't healed. And it is easier to look away, to distract, to perform, than to sit in silence and feel. But the pain does not disappear when ignored. It festers. It becomes projection, reaction, addiction, self-sabotage. To ignore the inner world is to build a house with no foundation. Turning inward is the beginning of freedom. To reclaim your inner life is to reclaim your power. When you observe your thoughts, you are no longer trapped by them. When you feel your emotions without resistance, they can transform. When you understand your patterns, you can heal them. When you return to your soul, you remember your purpose. This is why all real spiritual work begins with introspection. Not escapism, not performance, not memorized beliefs, but inner honesty. The willingness to see yourself, all of you. The invisible governs the visible. The soul governs the body. The unconscious governs your life until you make it conscious. A final reflection. Trust the unseen. Air is invisible, yet it gives you life. Gravity is invisible, yet it keeps you grounded. Love is invisible, yet it heals, binds, transforms. So why do we ignore the invisible world within us? The part of us that thinks, feels, yearns, suffers, and awakens. To live only for the visible is to live half a life. Awaken is to return inward, to the source of everything. So let this be your reminder. Don't ignore the emotion, sit with it. Don't dismiss the dream, listen to it. Don't suppress the question, explore it. Don't flee from the pain, face it with love. Your body is a sacred vehicle, but your consciousness is the driver. Start watching the road within. Know thy inner world before seeking the outer, the true initiation into the mysteries. In the age of spiritual fascination, where astral projection, past lives, cosmic portals, and starseed lineages fill the collective imagination, it's tempting to want to skip ahead, to bypass the inner terrain and dive straight into the spectacular, to seek experiences of other dimensions, higher realms, and celestial wisdom without first facing what lives inside our own hearts. But the ancient warning remains clear. Whoever wants to know the inner worlds of the earth must first know their intimate world. This is not metaphor, this is law. To enter the real mysteries, you must begin not by ascending, but by descending into the very core of your own being. You must face the world within before you can be trusted with the world beyond. A cosmic temptation, skipping the real work. It's easy to become intoxicated by the idea of exploring parallel dimensions, speaking with guides, or recalling past lifetimes. And while these phenomena are real and profound, they can also become distractions if sought prematurely or from ego. You cannot truly understand the universe outside you until you've uncovered the universe within you. Why? Because you bring your consciousness with you everywhere you go, even into higher realms. If your inner world is still fragmented, reactive, inflated, or unhealed, then everything you perceive will be filtered through distortion. You may project illusions, mistake fantasy for revelation, or worse, bring your shadows into sacred spaces unprepared. This is why the ancient initiates warned, the door to the spiritual world is not in the sky, it is in the self. Your inner world is a map of the cosmos. Every human being is a microcosm of the universe. The same forces that govern stars, dimensions, and planetary laws also live in your psyche. Your instincts are echoes of the mineral and elemental kingdoms. Your emotions mirror the movements of the moon and tides. Your mind contains structures like temples and cities, layers of memory, belief, and identity. Your essence is stardust, divine, eternal, and beyond time. To know this is not a theory. It is a realization that must be earned through inner inspiration, purification, and psychological transformation. As within, so without. This is not just a poetic phrase. It is a key that opens all doors. The real initiation, inner psychological death. Before you can navigate the astral plane or recall ancient lifetimes with clarity, you must pass through the first great initiation, the observation and death of the ego. This means facing and dissolving your false identities, mechanical reactions, addictions to validation, comfort or image, fear-driven behaviors, emotional attachments, pride, envy, lust, gluttony, and more. It is the inner crucifixion where the false I must die so that the divine can be born. Not once, but again and again. Not in theory, but in daily life. Many seek altered states, but the real altered state is the state of being truly present, empty of ego, full of spirit. Few reach this, because few are willing to face the furnace of self-confrontation. But this is the true path, not to escape yourself, but to transcend it through knowing, owning, and transforming it. Master your inner universe, then the multiverse opens. Once you know your inner world, your dreams become more lucid and symbolic. Your astral travels gain clarity and direction. Your intuition sharpens. You attract real guidance, not deception. You stop seeking for spectacle and start becoming what you seek. You no longer chase visions. You become a vessel through which higher worlds communicate. You no longer beg for experiences. You are invited into them through your purity, sincerity, and readiness. The mystery schools of Egypt, the shamans of Andes, the Gnostics of old, all knew this truth. You must earn access to the invisible through radical inner honesty. Final reflections. Your inner world is the first temple. Before you project your consciousness outward, learn to descend inward. Before you seek past lives, uncover the fragmented lives within you. Before you speak to star beings, learn to listen to the still voice of your spirit. Because if you cannot sit in silence, if you cannot bear your own pain without fleeing, if you cannot see your ego without denial, then how will you navigate the infinite? The gateway is within you, not in the sky, not in the next psychedelic, not in someone else's channeling. You are the key. Your consciousness is the compass. So begin where the masters begin. Not in space, but in stillness. Not in fantasy, but in fire. Not in belief, but in being. And then, when your house is in order, the universe will reveal herself to you. Not as something separate, but as a mirror of the self you've finally come to know. The divine wisdom within, returning to your true inner being. In a world filled with teachings, traditions, and spiritual authorities, it's easy to believe that wisdom must come from the outside, from books, from gurus, from rituals, from systems. But the deepest truth is much simpler and far more intimate. Each of us has our own divine wisdom, our true inner being. You don't need to climb a mountain, belong to a group, or follow a trend to reach God. You already carry the divine spark inside you, a silent presence, a living intelligence, a direct connection to truth. It does not shout. It does not demand. It waits. Because it is you, in your purest form, the part of you untouched by trauma, ego, or illusion. The true inner being, not concept, but reality. This inner being is not a poetic idea, it is real. It is the higher aspect of you, your spirit, your spark of divinity. It is older than your body, deeper than your mind, and wiser than any personality you wear. It is the part of you that knows truth without needing proof, that loves without condition, that speaks in silence, that remembers even when you forget. Many names have been given to this part of you. Higher self, Atman, spirit, Christ within, the essence, the monad. But no name can contain it. What matters is not what you call it, but whether you learn to listen. Why we feel disconnected. If our inner being is always with us, why do we feel lost, confused, or stuck? Because the voice of spirit is still, and the voice of the ego is loud. The ego, the false I we've mistaken for our real self, is built from fear, memory, comparison, craving, and pride. It constantly seeks validation, control, and distraction. And as long as the ego dominates our attention, we can't hear the wisdom already within us. This is the great tragedy. The light is within, but we keep looking outside. No external guru can replace the inner master. True teachers, when they are authentic, always point back to you. They don't ask for worship. They remind you to wake up. They don't want followers. They want you to follow your own being. If any teaching disconnects you from your direct relationship with God, it is incomplete. If any path demands that you stay dependent, it is not freedom, it is subtle enslavement. The inner being is your direct access to divine intelligence. It is the only real authority that cannot be corrupted. But to receive its wisdom, you must create space. Space from ego. Space from noise. Space from identification with thought. The door to the divine doesn't open with effort. It opens with surrender. How to hear the voice of your being. This voice will not argue. It will not beg. It will not scream to be heard. It speaks like a whisper under all the noise, or like a deep knowing in your bones. To hear it, be still, regularly, not just physically, but mentally. Observe your thoughts without getting caught in them. Feel deeply, without analysis or escape. Surrender control. Trust that there is a deeper current guiding you. Ask sincerely, then wait without expectation. And above all, practice inner silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of clarity. That clarity makes space for your being to speak, not in words, but in truth. The ego must step aside. The wisdom of your being is already available. It has always been, but it cannot enter a vessel full of noise, pride, and illusion. To walk this path means dying, not physically, but psychologically. You must die to the image of who you think you are, the desire to be right, the need to be seen, the illusions that keep you safe. This is the essence of all true mysticism. The false must die so the real can be born. The quieter the ego becomes, the clearer the inner voice shines. Final reflection. You are not alone, because you are already whole. There is a part of you that already knows. Not intellectually, but spiritually. In silence, in truth, in clarity. You do not need to seek endlessly for what you already carry. A journey is not about becoming something. It's about remembering what you already are. A vessel of divine light. A drop from the ocean of the infinite. A unique expression of God's wisdom. So begin here, not in the sky, not in the scroll, but in yourself, in your breath, your silence, your sincere longing. Ask your being to guide you, and then listen, not with your ears, but with your life. The purpose of life is not outside of us, not in careers, relationships, or achievements, but in awakening to the truth of who we are. To know oneself deeply is to begin the path to liberation. Suggested practices for self-knowledge. Daily self-observation. Watch your thoughts, reactions, and desires without judgment. Meditation in silence. Go within. Listen. Ask sincerely, who am I? Dream work. Pay attention to your dreams. They are the language of your subconscious. Journaling. Reflect on your inner experiences. Record moments of clarity or shadow. Pranayama or transmutation. If you're on a Gnostic path, combine it with energy work to purify and awaken higher faculties. This is the end of part 2. If you made it this far, I just want to say you are someone truly special. Not everyone is drawn to this knowledge. The fact that you're here, listening, means you're on a deeper journey. A journey of awakening, of remembering, of coming back to your truth. Keep going. Self-knowledge is not a destination, it's a living path. And every time you observe yourself, ask the real questions, or feel the pull towards something greater, you are stepping closer to the divine within. Thank you for walking this path with me. If any part of this message resonated with you or felt familiar deep within, feel free to like and subscribe. I'll be sharing more sacred Gnostic wisdom to help humanity awaken to its true purpose. May your day be filled with light and inner truth.